Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathasala. I am Dr. P. Nagaraj, Assistant Professor from Anna University, Chennai. Today we are going to talk on module protein-protein interactions from the paper Structure and Function of Biomolecules. Objective of today's lecture is important field in cell biology. It is very important field, as well as biochemistry, localizations and traffickings, post-translational modifications, signaling network. Also important field in viral applications, very difficult to predict, and two main patterns are domain-domain interactions and domain-peptide interaction. These two are very important in case of protein-protein interactions. An example, virion assemblies, the components come together and the nucleo capsid is formed, which turn will become completed to the whole particles. The assembly process begins when concentration of structural proteins is enough within the cell to drive the process. Many protein nucleic acids, and in case of membrane versus protein membrane interactions are needed. The mechanism of interactions based on the few classifications as a non-covalent interaction, so it is reversible in nature, whereas it's a van der Waals forces is a weak attraction between two units of proteins. And another class is hydrophobic interactions. Hydrophobic means water repellent, or means non-polar interactions. Electrostatic bonds means the charge separation between will give the another kind of interactions. Of course, the hydrogen bonds which is present in the protein molecule may also have the interactions. For a strong coupling, very accurate force field potentials are needed. And overview of these entire things, there are techniques available to identify protein-protein interactions, namely few of them I can tell. Gel filtration is one of the techniques, far western blot is another technique, and affinity chromatography is another class of techniques. Co-immunoprecipitations also another techniques, and capillary electrophoresis, of course biosensor using FRET microscopy, confocal microscopy, two hybrid assay, protein microarray, and mass spectrometry, as well as NMR, co-crystallizations for crystallography. These are all the techniques which is available to identify interaction between protein using these techniques. Gel filtration chromatography, also called size exclusion chromatography, that means based on size that a particle can go away from the chromatography. The porous material made up of cross-linked polymers, small molecules are trapped by the beads, or self-assembling proteins monomers come later. That is the criteria. The smaller the size of molecule which will bind strongly, whereas the bulky molecule will bind lightly. The bulky molecule will come out first, followed by smaller molecule. This is the technique in case of gel filtration chromatography. For western blot, this is another class of techniques to find out the interaction between proteins, so which is also called blot overlay, fractionating proteins on SDS page, plotting to nitrocellulose or PVDF membranes, overlaying with the solution of the protein of interest, binding the added protein to an immunoglobulin proteins to the membrane, detection with the antibody agent the overlaying proteins. That means it's a kind of western blot. You can plot both to antigen and antibody. Based on that, you can understand the interaction between proteins. Another technique is co-immunoprecipitations, and that it means it will precipitate along with the antigen antibody. That is another kind of techniques which is available to find out the protein interactions. Protein A binds to antibodies, seprosus beads coated with the protein A, specific antibody binds to the proteins of interest. The complex is precipitated by binding to the beads via protein A. Proteins are released from beads by boiling. In case of affinity chromatography, in the case of histidine tagged proteins, the histidine tagged proteins binds to nickel or cobalt column. That means in case of affinity it will bind attached to that. Histidine tagged proteins and its associated proteins are eluted from the column by adding imidazole. If you add imidazole, the binded protein will come out. This is how we can separate, or we can find out the affinity chromatography. This is another class of fluorescence resonance energy transfer techniques based on the light absorption and emission. We can identify the interaction between the protein and proteins, especially if violet light, which is excited state, which comes to ground state, which can be possible, and it will emit as a green light. FRET is another class of techniques. Cyan fluorescence proteins and yellow fluorescence proteins are spectral variants of GFP. Plasmid construct to fuse the protein are interest to CFP and YFP. Co-translations of plasmids to the cells, fixation of the cells and view by confocal microscopy. Disadvantages of this technique is false negative results. Fluorophores are over 200 Armstrong apart. While the potentials interact with each other, no signal will be observed. So this is the drawback of this FRET techniques. Another class of protein-protein interaction can be identified using yeast 2 hybrid assay. That is, one is activation domain, another one is a binding domain. Both two combinedly will give transcriptions activator. Using that, we can identify the interaction between protein and proteins. Yeast 2 hybrid assay is explained, especially transcription factor and transcription activator domains. Simulates transcriptions at the promoter recognized by activating, and Z reporter genes encoded beta galactosidase, which produces blue pigment when the colony is growing, and media containing X-gal. Disadvantage of this technique is it is a much time consuming techniques. It will take a lot of time during the process. 2 hybrid system where the Gal4 binding site and reporter gene both will combine together will give, if it is no interaction, you will not get any signals. If the interaction between this Gal4BD and Gal4AD, then positive interaction signal you will get. That is why we can identify 2 hybrid system. Mammalian 2 hybrid assay is analogous of Y2H assay. Plasmids, Gal4PBD fusion vector and VP160AD fusion vector. Co-transfections, in the case of interactions, luciferase activity will be detected. Advantages of this technique is good for studying mammalian proteins. They may not fold correctly in yeast, or they may require post-translation modifications for protein interaction. What are biosensor? Biosensor also useful techniques to identify protein-protein interactions. The transducer converts physical change, any kind of physical change like a heat, change in charge or light absorbance, mass, etc. into an electrical signal. So physical change which is converted to electrical signal, that is called biosensor, which is a useful technique to identify protein-protein interactions. Confocal microscopy, again the microscopy we can use to identify the interaction between the proteins. A good techniques to detect intracellular co-localizations of proteins, and also point scan laser system minimizes overlap in images, perfect for imaging co-localization of protein. This is a somewhat good technique. We can more accurately understand what is the interaction between the protein molecules, which is explains confocal microscopy. That means microscopy also we can use one of the tool to identify the interaction between protein, and that is also one of the technique. Protein interaction, why, which is very important, because gene is the basic unit of heredity. Genomes are available, and the proteins, the working molecules of a cell, carry out many biological activities. Proteins functions by interacting with other proteins will give interactome. So that is why protein interactions are very important. So what is protein interactions? Protein interaction generally means physical contact between proteins and their interacting partners. Protein associate physically to create macromolecular structure of various complexities and heterogeneities. Proteins pair can form dimers, multi-protein complexes or long chains. So these are all the way it will interact. So this interaction will give many important biological results that we can study in details. So what is the protein interaction will give? It always need not be physical. Sometimes it may be chemical interaction also will be there. Besides physical interactions, protein interaction means metabolic or genetic correlations or co-localization. This is another class of interactions. Metabolic, that is same pathway. Genetically correlations, so co-expressed, and co-localizations, so proteins in the same cellular compartment. So protein-protein interaction network is another class of identification of protein-protein interactions. The network represents interaction among proteins. Each node represents a proteins and each link represents an interactions. That means each node and in between the line will be there, that is called interaction between the protein. That kind of network we can identify using PPI network. Protein-protein interaction network. The network of protein is encoded by radiation sensitive genes in mouse, rat and human reproduced from. So this interaction will clearly tell you what kind of interaction. Based on that the biochemical reaction may happen in our body or mammalian bodies. Protein-protein interaction network. Some use of PPI network to learn the evolution of different proteins. Above different systems they are involved. Network can be used to learn interactions of other species, helpful to identify function of uncharacterized proteins. These are all the very important function to understand PPI network. Experimental identification of protein-protein interactions, either using biophysical methods, high throughput methods, especially direct high throughput methods or indirect high throughput methods. Two methods available to identify using biophysical methods of protein-protein interactions. In case of biophysical methods, mainly biochemical and physical and genetic methods using some spectroscopic method like X-ray, crystallography, NMR spectroscopy and fluorescence. Of course, atomic force microscopy also used for this kind of biophysical methods. That means the molecule will never get any kind of damage during the process. You can get back your molecules at the end of the process. And also biophysical methods having, it is used to identify interacting partners. That means one molecule interact with other molecule, that interacting partners also we can identify. Chemical features of the interaction partners also identified. The problem here, time and resource of consumptions is high, applicable for small scale. This is the problems. High throughput methods. This is how we can understand either direct high throughput methods and indirect high throughput, two methods available to understand the protein-protein interactions. Direct high throughput methods, yeast 2 hybrid, which is available most common method. Fuse two proteins in a transcription binding domains. If the proteins interact, transcription complex activated. Direct high throughput models, again problem yeast 2 hybrids. The problem is identified here, cannot identify complex proteins. Interaction means more than two interactions. That means if it is a protein is more complex, the interaction may not be identified clearly. And another thing is interaction of protein initiating transcriptions. So these are all the two negative part in case of direct high throughput methods. Indirect high throughput methods, looking at characteristic of gene encode that produce that proteins, gene co-expressions, assumptions, genes of interacting protein must co-express to provide the product of protein interactions. Computational prediction of PPI. PPI means protein-protein interactions. Computation is the theoretical predictions. It can be empirical predictions, theoretical predictions in two types, coevolution at the residual level and coevolution at the full sequence level. This is how we can predict by theoretically, but practically it may not be exactly same what it's predicted in the theoretical one, which is empirical predictions based on relative frequency of interacting domains, maximum likelihood estimations and co-expression. These are all the method can be available for empirical predictions. Disadvantages of this method is rely on existing network, propagate inaccuracies. So most of the case theoretical work may not be accurate that what we expect in the practical. Theoretical predictions of protein-protein interactions based on co-evaluations. The co-evaluations at the residual level, co-evaluations at the full sequence level. In biology, co-evaluation is the change of a biological object triggered by the change of related objects. Co-evaluations at the residue level, pairs of residues of the same protein can co-evolve for the three-dimensional proximity or shared functions. A pair of protein is assumed to interact if they shows enrichment of the same correlated mutations. So this kind of things, co-evaluations means two domain of proteins interact at the same time. It's very difficult to predict which one is favor for what kind of action. That will be a small difficulties. Co-evaluations at the full sequence level, the basic idea behind is change in one proteins are compensated by correlated changes in its interacting partners to preserve interactions. So if any changes happen one of them, that will be interfere the other one. From preserve that other protein we can understand the interactions. Similarly, interacting proteins have phylogenetic trees with the topologicals more similar than by chains. Mirror tree is most accurate option to identify the interaction. These are all theoretical identification of interaction of proteins. Mirror tree identify the orthologs of both the protein in common species and also creating multiple sequence of alignments with each orthologs. Creates a distance metric from MSA, calculate correlation coefficient between distance metric. Proteins network and disease, studying the genetic basis of disease, studying the molecular basis of disease. So based on that study only we can understand what kind of changes occurs in the genetic level. Based on that we can identify what else can save those kind of disease from the levels. Studying the genetic basics of disease. After Mendelian's genetics in the 1900, a lot of effort to categorize disease genes. Positional cloning, the process is isolate a gene in the chromosome based on its position. Genes identified by this approach either cystic fibrosis, HD, breast cancer, etc. Still mutation is the gene not correlated with the symptoms. So mutations, there is no symptoms available. Mutation nothing but changes in the gene that will create cancers. Studying the genetic basis of disease, again several reasons: pleiotropy, influence of other genes and the environmental factors. Studying the genetic basis of disease, pleiotropy, when a single gene produces multiple phenotype, and problems complicate disease elucidation process because mutation of such a gene can have effect of some, all or none of its traits. Means mutations of pleiotrophic gene may cause multiple syndrome or only cause disease in some of the biological process. Studying the genetic basis of disease, influence of other genes, interact synergetically, modify one another. Studying the genetic basis of disease is environmental factor, either diet or infection, etc. can change the genetic disorder, or cancer are believable to be caused by several genes and are affected by several environmental factors. Environmental factors means light, heat, etc. It will be play major role. Studying the molecular basis of disease, genes associated with the disease is important. Molecular details is also important to identify the mechanism triggering, participating and controlled perturbed biological functions. The role of protein interactions in disease. Protein interactions provide a vast source of molecular information because their interaction involved in metabolic, signaling, immune, gene regulatory network. This is the four way we can understand the interaction between two proteins. Via we can understand the problem whatever exists, via this four way we can identify. Protein interactions should be the key target to understand molecular based disease understanding. The role of protein interaction in disease. Protein DNA interactions, disruptions, protein misfolding, new undecided proteins interaction. That means if any problems occurs, it will what happen, the protein folding will convert into misfolding. So we can understand the based on that folding misfolding some problem may occur, that will give different kind of protein. Using that we can understand interaction with disease. Protein DNA interaction disruptions also, especially p53 tumor suppressors, mutations on p53 DNA binding domain destroy its ability to bind its target DNA sequence, causes preventioning of several anti-cancer mechanism it mediates. Protein misfolding and undesired interactions. Protein misfolding is a protein folding, a process by which a protein goes its 3D functional shape. Folding, which is opposite to misfolding, it will create problem, also known as the denaturation of proteins. New undesired proteins interactions, main cause of several diseases like Huntington disease, cystic fibrosis, Alzheimer's disease, etc. Misfolding is the concept protein folding which is opposite to misfolding. That means the folding will be the normal protein chain will convert it to protein folding. That is also known as denaturation of proteins. Using PPI network to understand disease, that means protein-protein interaction network, can help identify novel pathway. Protein-protein network can be useful to explore difference between healthy and disease states. So we can easily identify and we can understand which is a healthy, which is a diseased one. And similarly, protein interaction studies play a major role in the prediction of genotype-phenotype associations. That's also very, very important. Using this PPI study, we can understand three major things. One is it's between a healthy and a disease state, whatever may be, that we can identify. Also phenotype or genotype association also we can identify using this protein-protein interaction network. Using a protein-protein interaction network to understand disease, new diagnostic tools can result from genotype-phenotype associations, and also it can be identify disease subnetworks and also is drug designs. So based on the interaction what we can understand, we can design the drugs, so which can really involve inside the matrix and it will go and rectify the problems and solve it. That way we can understand using PPI network interactions. PPI network can help identify novel pathways of maps physical and functional interactions of protein pairs. That means physically as well as functionally what are the interactions present in proteins, and the pathway is represents genetic, metabolic, signaling or neural processes as a series of sequential biochemical reactions. So these two way we can identify using PPI network, one of the famous for identifying disease as well as healthy things. PPI network can help identify novel pathway. For the pathway alone cannot uncover disease details. When performing pathway analysis to study disease differential expressions is the key. Majority of human genes have not been assigned to pathway. That means there is no proper pathway for available for getting disease. It may happen if genotype or phenotype association, any one small changes in the genotype, it will create a disease or problems. PPI network or protein-protein interaction network can help identify novel pathway of. Scenario of PPI network can helpful to identify some key findings are disease genes are generally occupy peripheral position in PPI network. That means only outer layer this kind of disease genes can generally occupy. So few cancer genes are hubs, that means cancer affected genes cells will be as a kind of cluster, that is also known as hubs, and disease genes tend to cluster together, that means each and everything will be associated together to make a cluster like compositions. Proteins involved in similar phenotypes are highly connected. That means once that denaturation occurs, gene is changed to something else, that when aggregation and it will make a cluster, that cluster have connectivity to other one, it will make more cluster and that more unusual cells will form, that is called cancers. Genotype, phenotype associations and new disease genes. Disease gene by interacting partners of already known disease genes. Topological features to predict disease genes. There are 970 bar 5000 genes are disease genes. So students, let us now summarize what we have learned these models, and we studied some of the method which is identified for protein-protein interaction like gel filtration, far western blot, affinity chromatography, co-immunoprecipitations, capillary electrophoresis, and FRET microscopy, confocal microscopy, 2A hybrid assay, mass spectrum, NMR, co-crystallization for crystallography. Of course, some of the biophysical methods without destructing the molecule that we studied in details.